Hey all, Jason Bryan from Amateur Wrestling News here, and as I sit down and record this video, I gotta say I've probably tried this 15 or 20 times already. Um, I am stumbling over words, trying to figure out what the message I want to convey here is. The idea is simple. Sarah McMahon, a 2004 Olympic women's silver medalist, called me up about an hour or so ago thinking it would be a good idea to get our stories, not just our stories of those in the media or those athletes, but our stories from wrestling people. People who have made this sport their lifeblood. People who have made this sport a big part of their life. People who have either competed or worked a concession stand or fundraised or sat in the corner or packed up 15 kids in a 15 passenger van or the back of a station wagon and drove 4 hours to a tournament. Wrestling is so much of a part of who I am. And I know wrestling is so much of a part of who many of you are, if not 100% of the time. With families, with kids, with friends, wrestling is a sport that has given me so much. It's given you so much. And what we want to do is we want you to capture a moment, kind of like what we're doing here now. We want you to tell us what wrestling means to you, what the wrestling in the Olympics should mean, why wrestling in the Olympics is important. It's a lot harder to ignore a face of a parent, a face of an athlete, a face of a child who competes in this sport and why it is important. We're not here to put down other sports. This is not, the focus is not on what should or shouldn't be in the Olympics from other cases. We're worried about wrestling. Wrestling, the oldest sport, the original sport in the Olympics. To not have it in the Olympic Games to me is absolutely laughable. To remove it is deplorable. And we want you to record and tell your story. Post it on YouTube. Post it on Flowrestling. Post it on Vimeo. Post it wherever you see wrestling video. If you see Flo at a wrestling tournament, go up to the Flo guys, go up to Bader, to Willie, to Martin, to Joe Flo. Tell them your story about why wrestling is important to you. We want you to be able to tell the USOC, USA Wrestling, the IOC, FILA, tell them in your own words. It's a lot harder to ignore faces and voices and real people than it is just to click off of an email. So, wrestling, for me, has meant almost everything. Almost everything. It's changed my life in so many positive ways, and the friends I've made, and even the people that we don't get along with in the sport of wrestling, we still have that common bond. Remember that. Wrestling means, and I'm having even have a hard time grasping the right words to say how much this sport means to me and how much its inclusion in the Olympics affects what I do on a daily basis. We might take it for granted. Wrestling's in the Olympics, but now if it's taken away, what is our supreme goal? What is the pinnacle of our sport? Will we ever have a chance to see Jordan Burroughs or Jake Varner or wrestlers the next generation have a chance to eclipse that Olympic moment? We'll be able to remember performances like Kendall Cross, Kurt Angle, Randy Lewis, Dan Gable, all the Olympic greats over the years, Rulon Gardner. Will we ever have a chance for that again? If wrestling's gone, we don't want to think about what happens when wrestling's gone. So we want you to tell your story. Post it on YouTube, post it on Flow, post it everywhere. Why wrestling is important to you and why it should remain a part of the core values of what the Olympics is supposed to represent.